What's up guys? Welcome back to Toon Duelists. Today I'm going to give you an update to our Magnet Warrior deck profile. Now I'm super excited to show this one to you guys. Without the new support it was a mid to very bad deck, but with the new support, this archetype god, it is a super powerful deck, still very fun to play. I love everything about it, just a real classic. As always guys, if you want to skip straight to the deck profile, you can do it with the chapters down below, because next I'm going to go through our 5 categories to explain you more about the archetype itself, the playstyle, etc, etc. But before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe, this would really help us a lot. It's one small click for you, but means the world to us, of course. And of course, if you want to further support us, don't forget to check out our Twitch and our Instagram channel in the description. And if you want the full Magnet Warrior experience, don't forget to check out the test hand and basic combo video, as well as the Nexus-Replays. And guys, without further ado, let's dive into the categories. The first category is, as always, concept and lore. Well, first of all, this deck does have some anime and manga appearances, because it is, of course, obviously played by the king of games, Yugi Muto himself, and also played by Bastion Misawa in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX manga at least. The Magnet Warriors themselves are kind of based on those little toys that you can combine to get like a super big robot. You maybe know this from Power Rangers, and this aspect, of course, perfectly fits Yugi's toy-based deck. Also, they are all named after letters of the Greek alphabet. Of course, they being magnets and this like scientific way, Greek alphabet and all, also fits Bastion Misawa's style of dueling. So yeah, fits to both protagonists or both characters that use those decks perfectly right here. What is interesting about the Magnet Warriors is that they of course had different waves of support and they all form a different group. We had the original vanilla Magnet Warriors that can combine each other to form Valkyrion. Then we had the Electromagnet update of all of those original Magnet Warriors, so the Electromagnet Warriors that can combine to form Berserkion right here. Which, by the way, also fits the toy theme, I guess, because the Magnet Warriors just, you know, keep holding on to each other magnetically. The Electromagnet Warriors are kind of the electric update, flashlights and all of that. So yeah, I just think that really fits the whole toy-based theme it has. And the newest and latest addition to those Magnet Warriors are the Sigma Plus and Minus Magnet Warriors, only 2 this time in this group, that form Telusion together. Of course, you also have to mention that you can also combine Valkyrion and Berserkion to form Empyrean Magnum, so this whole combining thing goes a step further even. And what I really love about this combining is that if you look at Valkyrion, Berserkion or Telusion, you can actually really see which part of which Magnet Warrior is used to form this big Magna Warrior. I just love the design of this, but more about this in the artworks. Then of course we also have Magnet Warriors that are outside of these little groups. We have, for example, Delta and Epsilon, which are just support Magnet Warriors, I guess, for the original or the Electromagnetic Warriors. And of course we also have support for the new Sigma Magnet Warriors. For example, the brand new Omega or the Linear Magnum Plus Minus. So, in conclusion, what's the concept of those Magnet Warriors? They all look like small, kind of robotic little warriors. Very toy-like if you ask me, at least the little ones seem very small, but they can combine to form those big warriors, which again feeds both themes it has. On the one side, the toy aspect, presented by Yugi, on the other side, the scientific aspect, which fits Bastion, of course. So in total, a very interesting and double-sided concept we have right here. Next up, let's talk about the artworks. As I already mentioned, all of them look like small, toyish robot warriors right here, at least in my opinion. And of course, the first few Magnet Warriors also all have something with magnets directly implemented in their design. Let it be a magnet straight through the head, or you know, those North Pole, South Pole signs somewhere on their body. So they're clearly transporting this magnet theme in their design. Sadly, I have to say the newer Magnet Warriors, so the Sigmas, lose this a little bit. The toyish aspect as well as the magnetic aspect, they have those cannons, which doesn't really fit, I think. So in my opinion, they lean more towards the robotic aspect, which all the Magnet Warriors have in some way, but lose the toy and the clear magnet aspect. I mean, of course, you have a plus on the shield or something like that, but yeah. I have to say, design-wise, I like the new ones too, but the older ones are peak. When it comes to the big Magnet Warriors, I already mentioned that you can really see the different parts of the smaller Magnet Warriors they are formed of, which is just a great design choice in my opinion. Portrays the concept perfectly, of course, and I also love how they wield classic weapons. Valkyrian has a sword, Berserkion has this spear thing, and then Tellusian this big warhammer. So I also like that they just don't lean too heavy into the robotic part, but keep the classic toy aspect. I just love it. So, in conclusion, you can say all of the Magnet Warriors, maybe except the Sigmas, feed the concept in their artworks very well. They have this toyish look, but also the scientific side to it. And yeah, it's just a very creative and unique archetype, not only because of the concept, but also because of the design. So the design just portrays this perfectly, in my opinion. Next up, let's talk about the playstyle. And the playstyle is just like the artworks, perfectly in line with the concept of this whole thing, because the big point of the Magnet Warriors used to be at least getting all three parts of one group of the Magnet Warriors on the field or in the graveyard or wherever to form the big Magnet Warriors. So just combining your three little toys to form the big one. The first group obviously was awful for today's standards as well as back in the day, because you just had to have all three on the field and Valkyrian in the hand to be able to bring that out. So it was nearly impossible to do that. The Electromagnet Warriors then had the ability to attract each other, so search each other, and of course switch themselves out for other Magnet Warriors or Electromagnet Warriors. So it was a huge boost. Also fits the magnet thing, you know, like attracting and, you know, like putting them away again, if you know what I mean. Fits perfectly right here. And then of course Delta and Epsilon also were great additions to just further this whole idea of the playstyle right here. But still, I have to say, and I know what I'm talking about because I played this deck before the new support, it was still barely impossible to bring out Empyrean Magnum, so the really big Magnet Warrior we had. The new Magnet Warriors also just take this a step further. They are free special summons, they foolish a lot, they special summon from the grave. One of them is even an instant fusion, which also, by the way, fits perfectly that all the extra deck monsters of these archetypes are fusions. You know, combining your Magnet Warrior, so yeah, just fits perfectly right here. Even though I have to say with the new support, the whole bring out the big Magnet Warriors is kind of lost in most builds at least. Not in mine though, you'll see what I'm talking about. So in total, with the new Electromagnet Warriors and of course the Sigmas, you go through all of your Magnet Warriors really fast. You search them, you dump them, you special summon them back, use all of their effects. So you go through your toy box, if you want to put it that way, really fast to build your end board right here. Another thing that is really interesting about this archetype is of course it's rock, which is kind of a rare type for Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters to have, but it doesn't lock you into anything. So even though we only have fusion monsters of the archetype itself, you can easily play any Xyz or Link monsters. With a little Adamancipator, you can even play some Synchros. And yeah, just very versatile. And this is also the reason it is mostly combined with other engines like Fiendsmith, for example. With the new support we got, we also have some control aspects to this deck by now. One of your fusion monsters makes all monsters on the field become Earth. This might sound trivial at first, but you shouldn't underestimate this, because we have a lot of decks or archetypes that rely on their monsters being a specific attribute. Think about the Fiendsmith engine for a second. No light fiends anymore. You can't go into Fiendsmith if this fusion monster is out. So that's really something you shouldn't underestimate, as well as the ability of the Sigma minus and Sigma plus to like control the battlefield. Choosing the attack targets, negating attacks is also something that seems trivial, but can actually win you a duel. So, in conclusion, what do we have right here? We have a very flexible deck that you can easily combine with any engine basically, and any extra deck of course too. And it is a combo-based deck. You go through your cards very fast, and it has in the end some control aspects to it. So I think it is a really unique deck. It combines different things, a really cool playstyle in my opinion. Next up, we'll talk about the power level. And guys, what can I say? This deck is meta, or at least a meta contender. We have a lot of deck profiles that won regionals or other tournaments, so I consider it a meta deck by now, and this is just amazing. If you've seen my last Magnet Warrior deck profile and on which point we were power level wise, it's insane how good this deck is now with the new support. Since, as I already said, it doesn't lock you into anything, it is often combined with famous other engines, mostly the Fiendsmith engine. Emancipator is also seen a lot, so Sky Striker even sometimes. So you can really combine this with any engine, which is another thing that just boosts this deck, because being able to play different engines is just so powerful in the current meta. Because of course, if your Magnet Warrior line gets stopped, you still have your side engine you can just straight up go into. So yeah, that's another thing that makes this deck really powerful. As I already said, the attribute manipulations shouldn't be underestimated, so the control aspects of this deck are not too bad. Then of course it also has quick fusion summoning with the new spell we got, which is amazing to dodge some effects, so that's also something this deck really can do well. And it is always a good sign for a deck, you don't necessarily need your normal summon, which is always amazing. We learned that so far. Your end boards will have the mentioned control aspects. You can have an Omni negate, you can have endless spell negates, so this deck can really put up some amazing end boards. Another thing that is really amazing about this deck is its recovery. You can use a lot of your materials from the grave just again, and probably the most important part, it has so many different ways to start the combo or to get into your combo line and do your plays. You don't really have this one big one card starter, but you have so many combinations of your Magnet Warriors that can lead you to an amazing end board that, yeah, it's just really hard to brick with this deck actually. I might regret that sentence when we go to the test hands, right? Also, the engine itself is pretty small, so you have a lot of space for non-engine, which is always also a big power up for every deck basically. So yeah guys, in conclusion, we have a full meta deck right here. And this of course begs the question, what does it cost? And this brings us to our next section, which is of course price. And yeah guys, what can I say? I actually was amazed. I had most of the cards, I only had to get the new ones and pulled most of them, so I didn't really know what they are worth. Let me just flash you with this. You can have the whole deck core. So 24 cards for the main deck, and 13 cards of your extra deck for about $22. Guys, this is insanely cheap. I mean, we know what other decks cost. If you look through our previous videos, you'll know what Goblin Bikers or an Exodia deck can cost you, and those aren't even near the power level Magnet Warriors have. The pricey cards, if you can call it that, are for example Berserkion for about $5, or your Empyrean Magnum for about $3. Then we have Duotarian for about $2 a copy, and Artillery Beast also for about $2. But it's not pricey cards. And I have to mention, most decks don't even run Valkyrian or Berserkion, and also don't run Empyrean Magnum, of course. So you can even cut this if you want to. I don't recommend it, we'll talk about that in a moment. All of the other cards are below $1, mostly 10 to 20 cents, something like that. It's just amazing how cheap this deck is, guys. As always, I didn't include non-engine and I didn't include IP or SP. IP is really cheap by now, you get it for under $1. SP, I think $8 or $9 by now, so yeah. Decide for yourself if you really need that. It's of course great for some end pieces and some end boards, but not necessarily needed. So guys, this also means if you want to buy this deck, you have a lot of leftover money for some non-engine to feed. So guys, it is just amazing how cheap this deck is. For players who really want to get into like a meta deck, want to compete in some tournaments, this is really perfect. Very cheap deck core, and if you like to play this deck, you can just boost it up with the pricey non-engine if you like to. It's just an amazing deck, guys. So guys, as you can see, an amazing deck. I just love everything about it. And without further ado, let's dive into the deck profile. Alright guys, as the loyal subscriber you all are of course, you know we start with the monsters as always, and the first one we talk about is Beta, the Electromagnet Warrior. Love this design, really shows everything. The scientific aspect, the toy aspect, just amazing. This one has the effect that if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your hand except itself. And also during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you contribute this card to special summon a level 4 Magnet Warrior monster from your deck. Obviously, most of the time you want to summon it to have the search, but also the second effect can come in handy if you have it left over on your side of the field to just straight up switch it out with any level 4 lower Magnet Warrior from your deck. So an amazing card, in my opinion, a definite 3-of right here. Just a great searcher, amazing one. Next up, we run 3 copies of the brand new Magnet Warrior Sigma Minus. amazing card we got in Burst Protocol right here, which has the effect that once per turn when an attack is declared involving 2 Earth monsters, you can negate that attack. Also, you can reveal this card in your hand to fusion summon a fusion monster from your X deck using rock monsters from your hand or field, including this card in your hand. And if this card is normal or special summoned, you can send a level 8 Magna Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard. Now this card actually does so many things. The attack negate is okay, that's fine I guess, but fusion summoning straight from your hand is probably the best effect of this card. This is just amazing. You only need any other rock monster and you can go into your fusion summons. That's insanely powerful. And also the on-summon effect is really great to set up the stage for your big fusion monsters. I'm talking about Empyrean Magnum because yes, we of course run this one. So yeah guys, amazing card, definitely a 3-off, there's no way around that. Next up we have its counterpart called Magnet Warrior Sigma Plus. The design of this little guy is pretty cool actually, a little plus on the shield is pretty cool. Now this one has the effect that while you control an Earth monster, your opponent's monsters that can attack must attack Earth monsters. And while your opponent controls an Earth monster, you choose the attack targets for your opponent's attacks. So this is a lot of controlling attack targets of your opponent, which is actually pretty great. I love to have this on my end board because of this actually. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand or special summon it. And this is actually the best effect this card has. We of course have cards that can straight up foolish it from our deck, so it's just a free extender that way. Amazing card. Now, in my experience, 1 is enough. I've seen profiles that play 2. I can see why, because of course you don't have to send it from your deck. You can also just use it as link material, then it is sent to the graveyard and you have the effect again. So I can see why you would play more than 1, but in my experience, 1 is all you really need. Next up, we also run 1 copy of Epsilon, the Magnet Warrior. Also love this little guy, with the effect that if this card is normal or special summoned, you can send a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard, except itself. And this card's name becomes the sent monster's name, and then you can special summon a Magnet Warrior or Magna Warrior monster from your graveyard with a different name than the cards you control. And this is actually really insane, because on summon it is a foolish for cost. So even if your opponent negates anything, the foolish will go through, which is already amazing. Then of course changing the name doesn't bother us in this build actually, but then just special summoning another Magnet Warrior is great extending, and you can even bring out the Magna Warrior, so the big ones. This card is actually pretty dope. You can search it out, so that's why I only use 1. If you definitely and desperately want to cut something, you could cut this one, but I actually don't recommend it. And the final small Magnet Warrior we run is 1 copy of the brand new Magnet Warrior Omega Plus. Also great support card with the effect that if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can destroy another rock monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, when an Earth monster's effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can tribute this card and then target a face-up monster on the field and change it to Feint's down defense position. Now obviously it is a great extender. You can just easily bring this out, no matter from your hand, from your grave, doesn't matter. It is really easy to bring on your field. And if you use monsters in your hand, maybe something you can't even summon or don't need at the moment, or one of your big Magna Warriors, which you basically only want in your graveyard, it is basically for free. And of course the booking during your opponent's turn is also really not bad. But I have to say, it barely comes up. If you want to cut it, you could cut it. I keep holding on to it because, of course, booking during your opponent's turn is great. It is a good extender. More than 1, I'd say no. If you want to cut it, I could see you cutting this one. Next up, let's talk about the big Magnet Warriors. And the first one we talk about is probably the most insane card in this deck, which is Conduction Warrior Linear Magnum Plus Minus. What a long name. Alright, this one is actually really insane. It has the effect that it can't be normal summoned or set, and it must be special summoned by sending 2 Magnet Warriors with an original level of 4 or lower from your hand, deck and or face-up field to the graveyard. Also, you can target another Earth monster on the field, and this card gains half that monster's attack until the end of this turn. And if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add it to your hand. The attack raise is neat. Going second or on your third turn, for example, this can actually be pretty decent to boost this one up and finish off the duel. Of course, if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you just add it back to have the best effect of this card again, so also amazing, but the best effect is definitely its summoning condition. just foolishing 2 Magnet Warriors is insanely powerful. And if one of them is obviously Sigma Plus, it's also an extender. So an amazing card, perfect starter right here. You have to play 3 copies of this card. So next up, let's talk about the big Magna Warriors. And the first one we talk about is of course the classic Valkyrion, the Magna Warrior. I won't bother explaining you the effect because we won't use it anyways. We don't run the vanilla Magnet Warrior, so it's just a big beat stick. 3-5 and 3-8-5 in the defense is just amazing. And of course, you can actually have this on the field if your Imperial Magnum gets destroyed, but it's mostly fusion material. So we need 1 and that's all we need. It's almost the same with the next one, which is called Berserkion, the Electro Magna Warrior. The second big Magna Warrior we have, and this one, summoning condition doesn't really matter. The effect that it has is actually not that bad, because you can banish a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your graveyard to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. Now this is actually not that bad at all, because remember, you will use it as fusion material most of the times, but if your Imperial Magnum gets destroyed, you can bring out those 2, ignoring the summoning conditions. And with a Berserkion on the field and the power to just destroy, because yes, it is not a once per turn, this is insane. So actually a really great card and another reason I love to play Imperial Magnum and those 2. And the final big Magna Warrior is of course the new Tellusion, the Magna Warrior. Design-wise, I have to say, the weakest of the 3. But guys, let's be honest, isn't it beautiful to see those 3 lined up like this? Ah, just amazing. Now this one has the effect that it can't be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your graveyard by banishing a Magnet Warrior Sigma Plus and 1 Magnet Warrior Sigma Minus from your hand, face-up monster zone and or graveyard. And once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, or if you targeted an Earth monster, you can take control of it instead. And during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card to special summon 2 of your banished Magnet Warrior Sigma monsters. Now obviously, with all the foolishing we can do in this deck, it's not hard to get this one into the grave. It's also not hard to special summon it, because you will always basically go through your Sigma Minus and Sigma Plus. Then of course, taking control as a quick effect is also pretty amazing, only of course if all of your opponent's monsters are Earth monsters, but we don't have a problem with that. So most of the time it is taking control. If not, it's also destroying, which is also really not that bad. And the last effect is great for some dodging. So yeah, guys, in total a great card, but again, 1 is definitely enough. So that's it for the Magnet Warrior side of this deck. Let's talk about some support cards I run right here. And the first one we talk about is Adamancipator Researcher. I know some deck profiles only play 1, some don't play it at all, and I have to say I don't understand it. This card is so amazing and in my opinion a definite 3-off, because it has the effect that if you control a rock monster except itself, you can special summon it from your hand. And during your main phase you can excavate the top 5 cards from your deck, and if you do, you can special summon an excavated level 4 or lower non-tuner rock monster and place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. Guys, basically, this is always a free special summon. Once you have any rock monster out, you can get this one out for free. How can you not play 3 copies of this? It is just a free extender right here. And then of course it can, of course, not guaranteed, but it can also extend straight from your deck with one of your other Magnet Warriors. None of them are tuners. This card is insanely good. In my opinion, you have to play 3. I don't see why you shouldn't. And if you think you can tell me why, let me know in the comments. And the final card I would like to run is 3 copies of Duotarion. I don't have Duotarion by now, and not because it is pricey or something. If you watch the 5 categories, you know that, but I just didn't get my hands on it by now. But definitely you should play this card, because it has the effect that you can discard this card to add a bonding spell or trap from your deck to your hand. The others effect don't bother us, it's just a free searcher for your bonding spell right here, which we're about to talk about, so yeah, definite 3-off right here. And yeah, guys, that's it for the monsters. So, for the spells, this category will be quick, because we only run 3 copies of Magnet Bonding. So that's the one you want to search with your Duelists, and trust me guys, this card is insane. Because it has the effect that during the main phase you activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of Magnet Bonding once per turn. You either add a Conduction Warrior Linear Magnum +- or a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. So Searcher right here, and also Searcher is one of your best monsters. Or you add a level 8 Magna Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Decent, but actually you won't use this. And lastly, you can fusion summon a rock fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling rock monsters from your hand, field, graveyard, and or banishment into the deck. This card is insanely powerful. It's a starter in your own turn. You can also fusion summon during your opponent's turn. You can dodge effects with this. Guys, this card is insanely powerful. That's why you have to run 3 and you need 3 Duelists because you always want to have this card as soon as possible. And guys, that's already it for the engine. Next up, let's talk about non-engine guys. We run 1 copy of Nibiru right here. Guess I don't have to explain it. We can search it in this deck, so 1 is definitely enough. Then obviously the next things are pretty basic. Obviously 3 Fuvalos, still one of the best hand traps, if not the best hand trap currently in the game. Closely followed by Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, also just an amazing card. Then I still keep holding on to it. I'm a big fan of 2 Drawl and Lock. A lot of decks lose to it still, so I keep holding on to it. Then I also run 1 Called by the Grave to be hand trap safe. And then we also run 3 Infinite Impermanence, also just a great card, let alone the fact that it's not a once per turn is amazing. And then I would like to run 3 copies of Dominus Purge. Dominus Purge is still too pricey even after its reprints. Now with Purge I have to mention this because Purge obviously locks you out of the effects of dark, water and fire monsters. Your Duelists is a water monster, so that can be a problem. All of the rest of your deck is not affected. Of course, Ash with a fire monster, that can be tricky, but yeah, Purge is just an amazing card. Actually, it only happened once while testing that Purge actually prevented me from activating the effect of Duelists, so you have to decide for yourself. You also lock yourself out of a part of your extra deck, so you have to mention this, you have to keep this in mind. You could also just replace it with Ghost Spell, like I did. Just keep this in mind. I think Purge is great. I would play it if it wasn't that pricey. But yeah, it's up to you. Just mentioning it right here. And guys, that's it for the main deck. Alright guys, for the extra deck, we start things off with the Magnet Warriors of this extra deck. And we start off with 2 copies of Conduction Warrior Plasma Magnum. One of the best new cards Burst Protocol gave us that only needs 2 Earth Rock monsters, so very simple. It also has the effect that face-up monsters on the field become Earth, and also, if this card is fusion summoned, you can add a Magnet Normal, Quick Play or Field Spell from your deck to your hand, so it's another searcher for your amazing Magnet Bonding. You can also send a level 8 Magna Warrior monster from your deck to the grave, and immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a level 4 lower Magnet Warrior monster. This card really does it all for us. The attribute manipulation shouldn't be underestimated, I said that a lot now. And also, of course, searching your Magnet Bonding is amazing. And also Foolishing Magna Warriors is amazing for your Empyrean Magnum. So this card is just insanely good. And also the reason I like to run more level 4 or lower Magnet Warriors, so you have the chance to really use this effect. Because obviously, if you want to foolish a big Magna Warrior, you have to have a Magnet Warrior in your hand you're able to normal summon. So guys, amazing card. In my experience, 2 are all you need, and trust me, 1 is not enough. If you get crushed, you want to have this a second time. So yeah, best ratio right here. Next up, we run 1 copy of Empyrean Magnum, the Superconductive Battlebot. Look at this fusion of Valkyrian and Berserkion, just amazing. This card must be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials and can be special summoned by other ways. It has the effect that once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or monster effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And if this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon both a Valkyrian and a Berserkion from your hand and or deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. Guys, this is just insanely powerful right here. You have an Omni Negate, a huge beatstick with 4000 in attack and defense, And if your opponent gets rid of it, you bring out a Valkyrion and a Berserkion. Insanely good card. I love that you're able to play this and how easy you can get it out by now. I know a lot of decks, most decks actually don't play it. I just love it. I think it's one of the best endboard pieces. Maybe I'm just nostalgic and yeah, love it because of that. But yeah, in my opinion, amazing card and definitely a card you should run. The last fusion monster of this extra deck is one copy of Flux Oxenfeld. I hope I pronounced that right. In German, it's Oxenfeld. Okay? It's Oxenfeld. Is that clear? So, this one needs one level 5 or higher earth monster and a rock monster right here. And if it is fusion summoned, you can special summon a rock monster from your hand or graveyard except itself. And as a quick effect, you can target an earth monster you control and a card your opponent controls and return them to the hand. Each effect is a hard once per turn, and you cannot activate more than one in the same chain. Now, on summon, of course, just extending for another rock monster is amazing, and the quick bounce also a pretty decent effect, going second or in your third turn. This card is really amazing right here. But again, one is obviously enough. Next up is a card that can win you a duel on its own. Of course, I'm talking about Naturia Beast. Just one level 3 Magnet Warrior and your Adamancipator, and this card is on the field, and it has the effect that when a spell card is activated, quick effect, you can send the top 2 cards from a deck to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. This card must be face up on the field to activate and resolve this effect. And this is not a once per turn. Guys, this is endless spell negates. It needs an Earth Tuner and one of our non-tuner Earth monsters. No problem, all of our monsters are Earth. Guys, this card is insanely good. Endless spell negates right here. It's amazing. You have to play this in my opinion. If it is out, you most of the time actually won the duel with this. Next up, we also run one copy of Virtual World Beast Juju. Now, this one has the effect that it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while you have 2 or more monsters in your graveyard with the same original type and attribute, but different names, so no problem right here. You can also banish 2 monsters from your graveyard with same original type and attribute but different names to target a card on the field and send it to the graveyard. Now actually, I only included this because you have level 4 Magna Warriors and a level 2 Tuner, so I wanted to have a level 6 Synchro option, and actually this one is not that bad at all. It's untouched by Purge, and of course, untouched by battle, and also can send a card to the graveyard, which is also very powerful. So yeah, in my opinion, it's a really great card. If you know a better generic Synchro level 6, definitely let me know in the comments. Next up, we obviously run one copy of Gallant Granite. Generic rank 4 monster right here with the effect that you can detach a material from this card to either add a rock monster from a deck to your hand or special summon a rock monster from your hand in face down defense position. Obviously, you most likely always want to add Nibiru, for example, add a combo piece. Doesn't really matter, this card is insanely powerful in a rock-based deck, obviously. But yeah, 1 is enough right here. The other rank 4 options are pretty basic. We run 1 Evil Swarm, Exciton Knight, with the effect, if you don't know, that once per chain during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, if your opponent has more total cards in their hand and field than you do, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card and destroy all other cards on the field, and for the rest of this turn your opponent takes no damage. Just a complete board wipe right here, amazing. And we also run 1 Bagooska, Great Rank 4. I guess you all know what it does. I'll not explain that one. I guess it's known by now. For the link lineup, we run 1 copy of Cross Sheep. Very generic. In case you don't know, I'll explain this one. It has the effect that if a monster special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can apply the following effects in sequence based on the card types of the monsters. If it was a ritual monster, you draw 2 cards and then discard 2. We don't have that. But if it is a fusion monster, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. This one is the one we use the most, and it's actually pretty insane. We can also use Synchro, of course, which would all monsters you control gain 700 attack. And if it is an Xyz monster, which we also have, of course, all monsters your opponent controls lose 700 attack. Basically, we use it for the fusion effect, and for this, it is really powerful. Next up, we have basic stuff. 1 IP Masquerina. I won't explain it, I guess you know what it does. And if there's IP, there's, of course, also SP Little Knight. Watch out, both of them are dark, so if you used Purge, you don't have access to them. Just a reminder. For our rank 3 option, we run 1 copy of Dogurad the Stone Trooper. Needs 2 monsters, including a rock monster, and has the effect that if it is special summoned, you can target a rock monster in your graveyard, and this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack. And we have some big beatsticks there. Also, during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can target another monster on the field with attack less than or equal to this card. This card loses attack exactly equal to that monster's attack, and if it does, destroy that monster. So it is a quick monster pop during your opponent's turn and can be a huge beatstick to end the duel. Great card right here. I really recommend it, even though you don't necessarily need it. The final 2 cards are 1, Access Code Talker. I guess you know that by now and know what it does. I won't bother explaining this one. And finally, we also play 1, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. We spam a lot of Magnet Warriors, so it is not that hard to bring this one out. I'll explain it real quick. It needs 4 or more effect monsters, and you can also use a monster your opponent controls as material to link summon this card, so great removal, first of all. Also, if this card is link summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. So going second or in your third turn, amazing board negate right here. Also, this link summon card is unaffected by opponent's activated effects unless they target this card, and once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that special summons a monster from the graveyard, quick effect, you can negate the activation. Just a great card right here. It doesn't come up always, but if you can bring it out, it is always amazing. And yeah guys, that's it for the extra deck. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, definitely leave a like and a subscription. This would really help us a lot. Just one small click for you means the world to us, of course. Then obviously, let me know what you think about this build. We always love to read and answer to your comments, and some of you have so great ideas how we can boost up our deck, so I really would love it if you let me know your thoughts about this deck profile. Also, if you want the full Magnet Warrior experience, of course, don't forget to check out the basic combo and test hand video, as well as the Nexus-Replays. Don't forget to check out our socials, our Twitch channel, Instagram, all in the description for you guys. And yeah, I'd say until next time, have a good one.